Hello, I'm Stan Shelley from Shelley and Son Books, and this is our weekly program about old books and collecting old books. And usually I give a little preliminary information while hopefully some people are joining us. So we want to give just a few seconds for them to pop in and join us. But we do these weekly broadcasts about collecting old books and how to value them, how to research them, things like that. And then after it's on Twitter for 24 hours. After that, we put it on YouTube, and it's there for a long time. So you can go to YouTube and look up Shelley and Son Books and get all of our past programs. Shelley is spelled with two E's, Shelley, like the poet. So you can go to YouTube, search on Shelley and Son Books, and you'll get a bunch of our past programs. So we'll go ahead and start now. If you've joined us, send us some hearts, and if you have questions right in the middle of my talk, feel more than free to send us questions or just say hello and tell us where you're watching from. We're talking about association copies. Association copies of books are pertinent to, like, it can be just who owned it. If it came out of a famous person's library. If you had a book out of Albert Einstein's library, that'd be worth something. But more commonly, it's a book that's inscribed from one person to another, like it might be inscribed to an important person. So you can imagine if somebody wrote a biography about Ronald Reagan and they inscribed it to George Bush, who was Ronald Reagan's vice president, that book would have value. That's an association copy. Or it can be the reverse. It can be inscribed by an important person. You can imagine that if somebody in the early 40s wrote a book about the American Army campaign in Africa, then what if George Patton gave a copy of that book to somebody and he inscribed it? Well, that would be an important association copy because he was an important player in America's role in Africa. So that's what association copies are. A home run would be two important people. Can you imagine what it would be worth if you had a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird inscribed by the author Harper Lee to Gregory Peck, who played Atticus Finch in the movie? That would be an unbelievably valuable book. So that's what association copies are. We're going to talk today just to give you some information about how we think about association copies. We're going to talk about this book here, which is part of a series that the U.S. Army did right after World War II. They did a series about all the different theaters of World War II. This particular copy is about the China, Burma, India theater. And the last year of World War II, General Albert C. Wiedemeyer was the chief of operations for the China theater. So he was the top general for the Chinese theater, a very important man in World War II. So he inscribed this copy to General George Olmsted. General Olmsted worked for General Wiedemeyer. He reported to him. And General Olmsted did two very important things. As the war was winding down, they knew it was just a matter of weeks before the Japanese would surrender. And the American leadership was concerned that the day the Japanese surrendered, American POWs might get slaughtered everywhere. And so they made it General Olmsted's job to see the American POWs got out safely. Olmsted did a great job behind the scenes getting people ready for this. And then the instant the surrender was signed, he had airplanes in the air dropping leaflets in English and Japanese into the POW camps. And he got every single POW out. We didn't lose a single one. A great accomplishment. And then after the war, he was given the task of, what are we going to do with all this surplus equipment? It's not worth flying it all back to the United States. Are we going to let it sit and rust? What are we going to do? Well, he worked out a sale to various Asian countries, and he did a great job turning that almost liability into an asset. And President Truman praised him highly, said he did the best job of anybody in the world on that project. So Olmsted was important, and Wedemeyer was important, and this book, which came out after the war, was inscribed, full-page inscription, by General Wedemeyer to General Olmsted. And I'm going to read it. It's just awesome. With great appreciation of his outstanding services rendered in positions of great responsibility during and after World War II. As a key member of the China Theater headquarters, General Olmsted displayed a high order of intelligence, sound judgments, unusual attributes of leadership, and a sense of honor, a concept of duty, and an innate loyalty in the finest traditions of the United States Military Academy and the American Army. From his old comrade and friend, A.C. Wedemeyer. So that's a wonderful, warm inscription. That's a really nice association copy. Well, from a book collector point of view, the question is, what's that worth? A lot of books you can kind of look up and see what other people are asking, but association copies by their nature are unique. They're one of a kind. So how do you look that up and know its value? Well, the first thing I did is I looked up, well, what's General Wedemeyer's autograph worth? Well, it's worth about $15 or $20, and we know this book is worth a lot more than that. So what we're going to do is put it on eBay, and we'll let the marketplace decide what it's worth. But that's what we do with association copies. There's other ways to analyze it. You could research similar things and try to get a ballpark value for that. But association copies are fun to collect. If you're starting book collecting, that's a wonderful avenue to collect. And the one thing that's difficult, though, is learning to really know how much value you put on it. So that's it for today. We'll see you next week. If you want to ask us questions, our email is shelleyandsonbooks@gmail.com. Shelley is Shelley, shelleyandsonbooks@gmail.com. And our website is www.shelleyandsonbooks.com. Thanks much. See ya.